Stefanski, you're in. The Rizzo Show starts now. Hey.
MGM Northfield Park presents The Rizzo Show. And now, your host, Tony Rizzo.
Got our man. Got our man. Well, good evening, everyone. Tony Grossi here with me tonight. And Tone, yet again, the Cleveland Browns have hired another head coach. We believe the reports are that they have agreed to hire Kevin Stefanski from the Minnesota Vikings. Your initial thoughts, Tony?
I thought it was inevitable once Josh McDaniels left the Browns facility after 7 hours of an interview on Friday evening. I thought that Stefanski all along was right up there. If he wasn't the number one candidate, He was 1A. And once McDaniels left without a contract, I figured this was inevitable, no matter how the Vikings did on Saturday.
And it didn't matter that the 49ers beat the Vikings. Folks, can I tell everybody one thing before? Can you all just relax? Browns fans, I know a lot of Browns fans are angry. Why? Why? We thought Hugh Jackson was going to turn around the Browns. Most of us were behind the Freddie Kitchens hire last year at this time. My point is, we have no idea what Kevin Stefanski is going to be, but you at least have to give him a chance. Tony, do you feel like the Browns got a guy that they wanted to be aligned correctly? They wanted alignment. We talk about the GM here in a minute, but the Haslam said they wanted somebody who was going to come in here and be the leader of the team. Is that Kevin Stefanski?
Well, he's got a number of qualities that appeal to them. They liked him last year, right? Paul DePodesta did. He was the second finalist next to Freddie Kitchen. This year, I believe he's even a stronger candidate, a better coach. I mean, he spent a year under a new kind of tutelage of Gary Kubiak there and expanded himself as a coach. And they were more impressive, the Vikings offense, Saturday's game notwithstanding. So there's still some mystery there. Leadership was supposed to be the number one thing Jimmy Haslam was looking for.
Right.
And I don't know how you project that. We're not there.
We've got to see it.
We know that the defensive coordinator from San Francisco, Robert Saleh, he looks like a leader. He's a rah-rah guy.
Right.
Stefanski's kind of the opposite.
Right. Now we have to talk. Before we go GM, we got to talk coordinators. Tony, will Stefanski call his own plays, do you believe?
It's a question only he can answer. I would think yes, because that's what he did as coordinator.
Okay, and then what about defensive coordinator? What are you hearing?
Boy, there's been no names associated with him defensively. He's been only with the Minnesota Vikings for the last 14 years, and that's been Mike Zimmer's the defensive guy there.
Right.
So it's a bit of a mystery as to who his defensive choices might be.
All right, the Browns strategy guy is named Paul DePodesta. He was in charge of this search this time around. He wanted Stefanski last year, didn't get him. The Kitchens thing, maybe Jimmy Haslam said, you know what, maybe you're right, let's try your guy. Is he the most powerful guy in Berea? Tony, is he going to stay in his role? Does Stefanski coming in mean now that Paul is going to remain in charge in the Browns?
I would think so. I mean, it's his vision that is creating this new organization, the new football organization. He'll be very much involved in the selection of the general manager.
Why does Jimmy trust him so much?
Well, I think who else is left? I mean, really. I mean, Stefanski. I mean, Paul DePodesta's been with them for a while. Very bright guy, Harvard educated. He's, you could say he was right on the last two head coaches.
Right.
Reportedly, and I know it's been confirmed, he favored Sean McDermott over Hugh Jackson.
Right.
Favored Stefanski, who we don't know who's going to be a coach, but over Freddie Kitchens. So, Haslam keeps rejecting his recommendations. He probably felt it's time to listen to him.
All right. Well, speaking of Haslam, will Jimmy give Stefanski room? Is he going to stay out of the way? Is he committed to doing what he said, which is the alignment where the head coach is the most important guy in the building?
Well, I think that's the point of DePodesta forming this alignment, with the GM to come. Before people might ask, well, it didn't work in 2016 and 2017. Why is it going to work now?
Right.
Well, I would think the Browns would answer, they didn't have a coach who embraced their concepts, Hugh Jackson, at the time. Whereas Stefanski has a reputation in Minnesota, and they've done their research, really embraces the use of analytics to make decisions, even on game day.
Analytics. All right, is Stefanski the best choice for Baker Mayfield? Tony, we saw what he did with Kirk Cousins and others.
Yeah, I'd have to say, I thought Josh McDaniels, if you're only hiring for Baker Mayfield, McDaniels has a longer history of working with the greatest quarterback in history, and also spent some time with Baker prior to the draft in 2018 and liked him very much, probably felt he could do some things with him, whereas Stefanski is a complete independent new set of eyes and ideas.
And that'll be good for Baker.
I think it will be,
right.
but I think McDaniels would have been good for him too.
All right, Pat Shurmur's name's come up, offensive coordinator. You like that?
I kind of don't, for a couple of reasons. I don't like the idea of bringing in a guy who, you've already fired.
Yeah.
Second of all, when he was the successful coordinator of the Vikings, they ran a different offense than what Stefanski has done under Gary Kubiak. It's more like the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan offense. And I don't think Shurmur is a part of that. So I don't think that Shurmur coming here is going to happen.
Well, he will hire an offensive coordinator.
It might be Gary Kubiak's son, Clint, who was the quarterback's coach in Minnesota.
Interesting. Now that they've hired their head coach, Tone, what about general manager? Everybody just assumes that Andrew Berry, who is a Deep Podesta guy, analytics guy, very bright guy, will be back here to be the Browns GM. Only 31 years old. He was here for the ridiculous Sashi Brown purge of the Browns, but he spent a year in Philadelphia. Do you think he'd be a good candidate, and is he the front runner?
Well, I think he is the front runner. He's very well liked in the building. He went to Philadelphia after spending 1 year with the John Dorsey regime. There was no, they had so many vice presidents, they'd stumble over each other. So he expanded his career 1 year under Philadelphia. Haslam has talked about he wants harmony. Yeah. He wants everybody on the same page.
And that would be a harmonic.
Yeah, certainly.
Hire.
Andrew Berry, another analytic guy, Harvard, just like Deep Podesta. Hey, Stefanski's from Penn, another Ivy Leaguer.
You got three Ivy Leaguers.
I mean, it would seem to be the right mesh, unless Stefanski brings in his own candidate. And, there's been some talk. There's a guy in Minnesota named George Patton. I don't know if the Browns have requested permission for him, though, to interview him. He's like an assistant GM there.
Fans want to know why the Browns didn't hire Josh McDaniels, Tony, the local guy, Bill Belichick's guy, but you say it's not all bad.
No, I think he differed with the vision that Deep Podesta and Haslam had for the organization. I think we all assumed he was Jimmy Haslam's #1 candidate, and I always thought that if he was going to get the job, it was going to be Haslam.
This year?
Yeah, it was Haslam going to say, no, I'm picking my guy again.
Right.
And this time he didn't do that. You know what? We've seen a lot of Belichick assistants come through here, Bill Belichick assistants, and I know they're being successful in other cities more recently, but I kind of like the idea of just going in another direction, away from that tree, and just.
We tried with Mangini, we tried with Romeo. We've had our share of Belichickian candidates.
Yeah, I mean, they'll go their own ways, and the Browns decided to go another way. The offense that the Vikings had this year, aside from the game Saturday, which was a clunker,
right,
is kind of what you want to see the Browns do. They run the ball a lot. They take advantage of the running backs, and they
shovel passes.
There were a couple, I think. They limit. Not limit, but they don't overburden the quarterback.
All right. Tony, I hate to say this, but a year ago today, we picked a head coach. Yes, folks, a year ago today, it was Freddie Kitchens. Tony, today, we picked a head coach. Please tell me, neither one of those guys are here anymore, that next year at this time, we will not be picking a head coach. How committed do you think Haslam is to this?
Well, I think he's really committed, and that was demonstrated in the decision to part ways with John Dorsey. When he did that, I think he made a giant commitment to go back to the analytics-based system, but with a coach that would embrace it not reject it.
All right, by the way, Freddie is rumored to be working with the Giants, right? I think he's going to go work for Joe Judge in New York.
They have a history together.
And they might go get him, so he will get a job. Probably what, running backs coach? He won't be OC.
It could, well, I don't know. It could be anywhere on the offensive staff.
All right, when will we hear from Stefanski?
I think they're talking about possibly Tuesday.
Tuesday. All right.
As the introduction.
Stefanski, coming up. What happened to the NFL's MVP? Sorry, man. I loved it Saturday night. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Rizzo Show. Tony, not going to lie, it was fun to watch last night. But what happened, Tony? Lamar Jackson, no one able to stop him for pretty much the entire regular season, except the Browns. And then last night, boy, the Titans, Mike Vrabel, what a coaching job.
Yeah, you know what? I think the day the Browns beat Baltimore in October or late September, they were the more physical team that day. Tennessee has consistently been a physical team, both offensively and defensively. I think that's the key to beating Baltimore is to outslug them with old-fashioned football. And they're so disciplined, Tennessee is. They don't make any mistakes.
Right.
And they forced this young quarterback to make a couple mistakes, and then they took advantage of it.
Boy, Derrick Henry, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Speaking of having a bad night, how about Patriots Julian Edelman, who was arrested last night in Beverly Hills for allegedly jumping on the hood of a car? He is scheduled to appear in court in April. How does that conversation go with Bill Belichick? Tony, jumping on the hood of a car.
Yeah, he was celebrating something, but I don't know.
Must have been celebrating the Titans' big win over the Ravens last night. And finally, how about a little more drama? This one a little more closer to home. Boy, Kevin Love, Tone, has had a really rough start to the NBA season. I got to be honest, I'm surprised the Cavs haven't traded him yet. I know they can't find a deal that they like, but isn't it amazing how Kevin came out and had a blow-up? Then John Beilein had to apologize to his team for using the word thugs. Now all of a sudden, I think the Cavs have won like 2-3 in a row. Here we go.
They've kind of coalesced around each other, and they've played two really good games. So those are really important for Beilein to reestablish. Hey, Riz, it could be a turning point.
Yeah.
And Kevin Love has done everything he could to apologize for whatever he had to apologize, outbursts or shows of anger, whatever. But they seem to be a little more of a team all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I don't know John Beilein personally, but I don't think there was any malice involved in those comments. I liked that he apologized to his team. He seemed very sincere, and I think that, there's kids on those. I'm sorry, but the Cavaliers players are 19 years old, some of them. Those kids on the team seem to accept that.
Well, the play of them have shown. They've accepted him and they trust him.
Now, there's a big college football game tomorrow night, Tony. But there's an even bigger game tomorrow night when LeBron, remember LeBron? Oh, LeBron, I miss you. LeBron plays the Cavs tomorrow. Tony, are you surprised the Lakers have the best record in the Western Conference?
Shouldn't be surprised as long as LeBron James is healthy and his new partner, Anthony Davis, they're among the best. But there's a long way to go, as we know, in these NBA seasons. But LeBron had one of his worst seasons because he wasn't on the court as much as usual last year.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Bronny, LeBron Jr. I think we're about 4 years away until he is
eligible. Can he make it?
For the draft. He can make it. And by the way, the Cavaliers are only 5 games out of the 8 seed in the playoffs. I actually looked at that this morning in the standings. All right, let's talk boys of summer. What a turn of events for the Indians and Frankie Lindor. Last month, he was going to be traded. This month, Tony got $17.5 million thanks to the Tribe. They avoided arbitration with him. But, Tony, the question is still out there. Will the Indians deal Lindor? Here's my prediction. He'll be here opening day. I don't think they're going to deal him now. And if things go well, I think the Indians are going to let him play out this season here in Cleveland. I would like to see that. He'll be, if he could trade him next offseason and have 1 more year left. But to trade him with 2 years left, Tony, I'm sorry, I don't like it.
Well, I think the record will dictate that. If they're in the pennant race, which they obviously think they will be around the trading deadline, I think they will hold on to him. Now, you'll get less when you finally trade.
Not that much less. All right, you can see Frankie and the boys at Tribe Fest, which is taking place on February 1st. Coming up, it's one of our favorite pastimes, kids. We're spinning the wheel. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. Chris Missy Seba here at MGM Northfield Park. Check out what's going on this week. 200 fresh new games have hit the floor at MGM Northfield Park this January, and you could win $1 million by playing the biggest ones. Earn entries daily, now through January 28th, and you'll have 400 chances to win up to $1 million on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Pick up your lottery tickets on January 13th and January 27th from 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the promotion stage. The higher your card level, the more tickets you'll receive. Want more free play? Play at the Lucky Gift Bank machines in the center aisle to win up to $250 in free play. Backed by popular demand, Charlie Wilson will be back at MGM Northfield Park on January 19th in center stage at 8 p.m. Also, don't miss the Tiffany Haddish Comedy Tour on January 31st at 8 p.m. Tickets are selling fast, so be sure to purchase yours online at Ticketmaster.com today. Take a Vegas vacation without leaving the state. MGM Northfield Park, Las Vegas is here.
Boy, I feel like I've been on the wheel myself the past couple of weeks, Tony. For the Browns coaching serves, here we go, kids. Time to spin it. Hey-oh, AFC versus NFC. Tony, who do you like in the Super Bowl? I know you like the 49ers.
I like the 49ers. So or even if Seattle would win that game, I like the NFC representative, no matter who the AFC is.
Yeah, I want to see Kansas City versus San Fran in the Super Bowl. That is my pick. All right, here we go. Roll it, roll it, roll it. And action. Tom Brady. Tony, there were actually rumors Tom Brady was coming to Cleveland with Josh McDaniels. How'd that work out? You thought they were preposterous.
Yep.
Where does he play next year, if at all?
Well, if Josh McDaniels stays in New England now, which we all think obviously is going to happen, I think that increases the likelihood that they'll go for one more run at another Super Bowl.
44-year-old Tom Brady.
Yeah, he wants to play. He's made that publicly known. And I think they don't have a suitable replacement or even close to a suitable replacement.
Let's roll it. Roll it. I hate the Patriots, so I'm glad. LSU, Clemson, Tone, who you got tomorrow night?
Wow, I look forward to this game so much. I just love watching these two quarterbacks. I'm going to say LSU. I'll go with the Ohio quarterback.
Joe Burrow.
But I love the other guy, too.
Don't count out Dabo, man. When Dabo's an underdog, he's dangerous. Tony, I thought Ohio State could have beat Clemson and actually should have beat Clemson. So I'll go with LSU, too. Roll it, roll it. Who are we doing? Where are we at? Hey, now. No kneeling. Tony, the Olympic Committee came out this week and said athletes will not be allowed to kneel during the upcoming Summer Olympics in Tokyo. Good idea, bad idea?
Well, you know, they have this rule in the NBA, and it seems to work. They never had this rule in the NFL. That's why players started protesting that way. I think it's a good rule, right? You don't want a political statement to overtake the Olympics.
Come on, let's not mix church and state, right? Next, one more. Katie, how many are there? Good and Masked Dancer. Tony, the Masked Singer, is very popular here on Fox. Now Ellen DeGeneres is going to do a spinoff called Masked Dancer. Are you in?
I have no words to describe.
The Masked Dancer. We have, okay, one more. Hey now. Ooh, what is that word? Dryuary. Tony, have you heard of this? It's basically taking a month-long break from drinking alcohol in February. Dryuary.
It's tough. Very tough.
Got to have a little red. Look at that. Look at that red. That's got to be from a Riz on the road.
Yeah.
I'll pass, by the way, on Dryuary. Coming up, you think Stefanski's having a few cocktails tonight, Tony? We'll wrap it up when we come back. Stay with us. Hey now, don't you go anywhere. Stay tuned. Our good friends Big Chuck and Lil John are coming up next. Tony, what would you say? There were a lot of Browns fans angry on Twitter. Why, I don't know. We did a poll during the week. Everybody, most people wanted Josh McDaniels, a local kid. What would you say to Browns fan tonight about Stefanski?
Well, I think most people wanted Freddie Kitchens last year, a year ago at this time. Before that, Hugh Jackson was the #1 choice that everyone kind of rallied behind. He was the preferred choice.
That didn't.
None of that worked out,
Right.
right? So what do we know? We weren't in on the interviews. We don't know the makeup of Kevin Stefanski. You got to trust and let them run with it. They've got it aligned the way they wanted it finally, and let's see what happens.
I wonder if he'll call plays, Steve. Best guess.
They usually do, at least the first year, until they can train someone to do it for them under their system.
Tony, just real quick, the way everything started this year and how optimistic, can you believe we're doing this show?
I know.
Where we just hired a new head coach.
It was only 365 days ago that we were introducing Freddie Kitchens, and it seems like 10 years ago, right?
Well, I know one thing. We'll be here next year. Well, maybe. We'll see. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Stay tuned. Big Chuck, Little John, it is good to be alive. Have a good night. Go Browns!